Buckeye Nation, what's going on? We got a special treat for you tonight. The first of a two-part series on five coaches who need to improve and are on the hot seat entering 2025. You see in the title there below, the first coach we're going to go with, talking the main man at Wisconsin, Luke Fickell. How can he improve and what does he got to do to stay at the job in Madison?
I mean, like, let's first off, before he came to Wisconsin, he was at Cincinnati. And at Cincinnati,
Yep.
he was 57-18 over 6 years. Now, let's look at his record by year, just so you could see, the improvement. I mean, drastic improvement from his first year, 2017, 4-8. 2018, this is a drastic improvement, 11-2.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
2019, 11-3. COVID year, 6-0. Then 2021 made the playoffs, 13-1. I mean, that's a drastic improvement. Now, I will say that, okay, so when he got to Wisconsin, first season, 7-6, conference 5-4. Then 2024, 5-7, conference 3-6. Now he did have his team put up a fight against the number one team in the nation in Oregon. So
He did.
that's a plus. Maybe that's something to look for, to have hope about. But looking at his record since, he only got better, and it seems like after his first season Wisconsin, he got worse. But one thing that really stuck out to me was, when what's his name? Paul I
Chris.
forgot it. When Paul Chris was the Wisconsin coach before Fickell, he had top 25 recruiting classes. And like right after he left, and so 2022, the 41st overall ranked recruiting class.
Yikes.
In 2023, as well, in the 40s. In 2023 was 40th, and then 2024, 25th overall. And this season, 2025, it's also 25th overall, 7th in the Big Ten, composite score of 239.08. Now, what I will say is, Fickell did so well in Cincinnati because just like not recruiting well enough to compete on the national stage. But if you look at the conference they were in, he was recruiting well enough to win year in and year out in that conference. He was recruiting well enough for the conference, but not for the national stage.
Sure.
So, but man, they got a big schedule this season, and these are the man, 2025.
Very tough.
They're at Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
Come on.
At Michigan, the Big House. They host Ohio State.
Yep.
They're at Oregon this season, and maybe, just maybe, we'll see how Indiana's shaping out to be this season. It's Kirk Cincinnati's second year. They're at Indiana, so that could possibly be a tough game. But it's looking like a tough schedule, and it could be that these are 4 or 5 losses right here, possibly.
Awful lot to prove and not an easy schedule to do it in. Who's the second coach on the list that you got here that has a lot to prove in 2025?
All right. No other than Lincoln Riley. So,
the man in LA.
looking at the reason why he left Oklahoma now, he took over Bob Stoops' program at Oklahoma, got to the playoffs, won the Big 12 championship like 4 or 5 years in a row. And they're just like, okay, I want a bigger challenge. He thought it was the right thing to do for him and his family as well. So Lincoln Riley, since he got there in 2022, lost to Utah in the Pac-12 championship and missed playoffs. Finished 11-3 in conference play, 8-1. Now 2023, they took a step back, even though they had a good amount of talent. That Alex Grinch defense just got the best of them big time. Let's see. 8-5 overall, conference play 5-4, missed playoffs and Pac-12 championship. But let's rewind to why we all know why he left Oklahoma. He thought he was going to have a better chance to win a national championship at USC, but he said he wanted the challenge. But all right, now 2024, first season of the Big Ten, 7-6 overall, 4-5 conference. But the story of the season, couldn't finish games. We all know that Michigan game, lost with 45 seconds left. Minnesota 24-17. Penn State 33-30. They were leading at some point in that game.
Heck of a game that was.
A good amount of that game. Maryland 29-28 and Washington 26-21. Couldn't finish games, which means it starts all the way at the top. That's coaching. That's execution at the moments when a team needs it the most.
Yes.
And just the amount of hype that surrounds Lincoln Riley, like, oh, he's this great offensive mind, but it's just like, I wouldn't hire him to rebuild the program. So I personally, he's got due to the hype that has surrounded him. Let's be honest, he went to USC because he thought it was a better situation to win national championships.
Yeah.
I don't care what he says about he wants a challenge or it's the best thing for him and his family. He literally called Oklahoma the something along the lines that they're the landing spot in college football. Like they're the epitome of college football.
The epicenter,
and then all
maybe?
Of a sudden, the epicenter of college football. And then literally right when he gets hired at USC, he says the same thing about USC. So
yeah, not a good look.
He does have a lot to prove.
I'll tell you,
think,
man,
Peter?
of the 5 coaches that are on the list for today's video, man, I feel like he has got the hottest of the hottest seats. He really has a lot to prove this year because he came from so much at Oklahoma with so much hype, like you mentioned, and is not delivered in a USC uniform jersey. Like he's gotten Caleb Williams the Heisman. That's the only thing he's garnished and the only thing he's earned in the Coliseum. They've got another tough schedule coming up this season, and I don't know if he's going to make it to the end of the year. To be completely honest, he's really up against it here in USC.
And the buyout, I could imagine that the buyout for his contract is just astronomically just ridiculous, man.
Because he got a fat contract when he signed for USC. He was the name in the college coaching circle and college coaching world. And so he got a huge fat contract to sign. And so to get out of that, it's going to be hefty. Who's number 3 on that list for you?
Wait, one second. Oh my gosh, Peter! Speaking of the contract, dude, his buyout as of January 2025, his buyout is between $88 and $90 million. 88.
My God,
dude.
Good luck, man. They might as well just keep him at that rate, bro. Keep your 7 and 6 seasons.
Jeez, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's a tough situation.
They have a lot of celebrities on their sidelines, dude.
That's a risk you take when you hire a coach like that.
Yeah,
that's a risk you take. That's why Ryan Day started low, and then they built him up. Now that he's won a national championship, earned his keep. But anyway,
yeah. All right, number 3, Brian Kelly. Man,
buddy.
The things I have on here just makes him look like he has a lot to prove. He needs to back a lot of things up. So left Notre Dame to win national championships. This is his exact quote, Peter. I want to be at an environment where I have the resources to win national championships. First season 2022, SEC runner-up. They got blasted by Georgia, by the way, but they did. I swear there must have been over 100 points total scored that game, over 120 points. They beat Bama in overtime, but they missed the playoffs. They finished 10-4 in conference 62. 2023, But wait, before that, the 2022 season, I was really surprised, man. They took the SEC by storm. I did
Sure.
not expect them to make the SEC championship game his first season. I thought it was like going to be this building thing, but you know what? He took the talent. He made it work.
Sometimes
$2,020.
he is a good coach. I wouldn't call him a great coach, but he's a good enough coach to give him that boost. And certainly from Ed Orgeron and what they were offering there. Certainly from that staff.
Yeah. 2023, 10-3, conference 6-2. No SEC championship, no playoffs.
Nope.
Now 2024. This was like he probably not going to survive the next this season, or he could be fired by the depending on how it goes, he could be fired by the end of the season. Maybe they give him 2 years. I don't know, but 2000 go on, Peter.
I'm sure they expected a playoff appearance, at least in the first three seasons, and he hasn't delivered yet. So
yeah. All right, 2024. 9-4 record, conference 5-3, blown out by Bama at home, 42-13. Now, mind you, as the season is going on, you figure out no playoffs, no SEC championship game, no national championship. Fumbled number 1 overall recruit Underwood, number 1 overall wide receiver DK Moore. So Underwood ended up at Michigan.
Yep.
DK Moore is at Oregon, and 4-star 61 national ranked wide receiver. Well, he's 61 overall recruit. Wide receiver not Derek Meadows. I almost put DK Moore twice. Derek Meadows still had a top 10 class though, so that's good. So
he's recruiting well, but he's not getting the results on the field.
Yeah. Other thing he had to watch, and you already know I'm going with this, man. He had to watch Notre Dame in the national championship game. And who took the job? The defensive coordinator, Marcus Freeman, who looked like the players wanted him as their coach all along. So
sure did.
He pretty much said, "Yeah, you can't." He pretty much insinuated that you can't win the national championship at Notre Dame, and you can't beat a team in the SEC. Well, Marcus Freeman, he almost accomplished both. He beat Georgia, and he almost won the national championship. So,
and he's reloading for another great year in 2025 as well.
Yeah. So here's the 2025 schedule. So Clemson, Florida, Ole Miss, South Carolina, A&M, and Texas A&M and Alabama.
Hey, yo. Good luck with that.
So
that's some minefields right there.
I know, man. I mean, honestly, dude, I think so. Ever since Kelly's gotten there, he is 0 for 2. Actually, I think 0 for 3 in season openers, dude. I'm putting him down for 0 for 4, dude. They lose to Clemson. That's season opener.
Take it out of Clemson.
I think they lose to South Carolina. So Clemson and South Carolina are for sure's for me.
Okay.
And the other 4, they're toss-ups, man.
Sure.
So
he's got a lot of pressure on, man. Cajun Kelly coming in with that accent. Let's see what he can do. As if he can turn the ship around and get it sailing in the right direction, because right now they're trending in the opposite direction of what you want to be going. And the Tigers are not anywhere near sniffing the playoffs right now. And they got a tough, formidable schedule ahead as well. So big prove-it year for Brian Kelly coming up down in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. All right, man. Second one. Well, actually, did I go over the USC schedule for 2025? I don't think I did.
I don't think so, but
real quick. Lincoln Riley's USC schedule for 2025, the big games. So at Illinois, that's going to be a big one. They play Michigan, they play Notre Dame, they play Oregon. So big games.
They host Michigan.
Yeah. So
okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
Let's talk about know thy rival. Here's Sherrone Moore, man.
Sure thing.
So he got all hyped up because he coached a couple of games for good old Jim Harbaugh when Jim Harbaugh was suspended, and then he got extremely hyped up going to the season. Yeah, finished 8-5, beat Ohio State and an okay Alabama team,
Sure.
but due to the NIL and resources and just all the hype, he has a lot to prove. They have a really favorable schedule. I don't think they play anybody until Ohio State. I mean, I want to see how USC is. Uh, Oklahoma could be terrible next season. So in terms of an easy schedule, if they don't make the playoffs, like that. To me, that's a failure. And look at all the NIL money. They just had their best recruiting class
Oh yeah.
since the Hoke era. I mean, number 6 overall, composite score overall. They got the number 1 overall recruit, Bryce Underwood. They just throwing money left and right at transfer portal recruits,
Yeah.
just recruits overall. The amount of money that the boosters that Ellison, I mean, her
Seriously.
his wife is making him throw into the ring for this Michigan program. There's a lot to prove for Sherrone Moore. They're more than likely they're going to be expecting a Big Ten championship. They're going to be expecting a playoff appearance and somewhat of a run.
Well, 8-5 certainly is not the season they expected or anticipated. And I know they beat they're both the rivals, Michigan State and Ohio State, and they beat Bama in the bowl game, like you mentioned. But I can't imagine too many people are too pleased with how season 1 went. Maybe how it ended, but not how it went overall. When you look at the season in a totality as a collective, I know speaking from Ohio State's perspective, we'd never be satisfied with an 8-5 season. Now, the thing that's different about Moore is, man, he's got the schedule set up so nicely for him. Doesn't have to play Oregon in the regular season. Doesn't have to play Penn State in the regular season. Things set up real nicely for the Wolverines to make a serious run at the playoffs if the coaching and development is there. If that is intact, if that is carried on from the Harbaugh regime, that's still a big test to see if that actually did carry over or not. We're going to find out because the further we get from the Harbaugh era into the Moore era.
If they don't make the playoffs, to me that's a failure. That's a
abject failure.
dude.
With the schedule, absolutely. I'm with you, Phil, completely.
So it's going to be interesting to see because a good amount, those talented Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Colson Loveland, Johnson, Josiah Stewart. A good amount of Harbaugh's championship team was, on this year's team. So let's see. It'll be as almost as if they're starting fresh, man. These will pretty much almost be all of Moore's players.
Yeah,
a good amount of them. So
yeah, we're getting close to that.
Let's see what happens. Because remember, they Michigan fans are all excited. Moore beat Ohio State year 1 as the actual head coach. Remember Ryan Day? He beat Michigan year 1
pretty handily.
But still had some of Meyer's players. And look what happened when he brought in his own players.
Every single player that won the national championship was his player.
Yeah, was his player. So your turn, Moore. Your turn, man.
Let's see what you can do. Can you live up to the pressure, or are you going to crumble under the facade at U of M? We're going to find out.
Yeah.
And last but not least on the list, who you got?
Man, just based on who's coming back, the big hire. It seems like this school is all in. This team's all in. I'm going with the coach with the most to prove, James Franklin, Penn State Nittany Lions.
James Franklin, that one's interesting to me. Explain that one to me.
All right, man. So, one Big Ten title since 2016 versus top 5 teams. This is really ugly. 1-14. 1-14. Only win against Ohio State in 2016 Now, verse top 10 doesn't get any better at all. 4-20. 4-20.
Jeez, that's pathetic.
Ohio State hasn't won since 2016. Ohio State and Michigan have kept Penn State out of the playoffs for for quite some time. I mean, dude, even in 2016, Ohio State kept them out of the playoffs and they beat Ohio State.
Yeah,
So
they beat them. They beat them.
So they had their first playoff appearance in 2024. It's noted that they benefited, which we predicted they benefit from a 12-team playoff.
Sure did.
Reached semifinals and lost to Notre Dame. Easy road to get there. They face SMU at home. Then they played Boise State. They kept Ashton Genty out of the end zone. But here's the thing, man. This is why I'm saying all in. They hired away Jim Knowles. He's going to be their defensive coordinator. And also, Aller, Singleton, and Allen all return. Don't act like that. That's not something small, man. So
Pushing the chips all to the middle of the table on this one, aren't they?
Yeah. So Allen, 220 carries, 1,108 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Singleton, 172 carries, 1,099 yards, 12 touchdowns. That's a lot of production in the backfield. That's like a lot. They could end up being better than Junkins and Henderson next season. They got one more. They have another season of that, man.
They're disgusting tailbacks. They're so good.
And Aller, Drew Aller, 3,327 yards, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 77.5 QBR. But here's the thing, man. If Aller doesn't improve, it's not going to be good because he's at a 66.5% completion rate. The threshold you want to be at is like the 70 to 73 mark, I think. So
well, the big thing that I'm looking for, man, is can Aller take that step? Can Drew Aller finally take the step? Like only one quarterback under James Franklin's been able to do, Trace McSorley. He's the only one that's, I swear, that's improved in their time at Penn State. Saw a little bit from Hackenberg, maybe, or not Hackenberg, but the guy just before Aller, I forget his name right now, but yeah, not much improvement out of the quarterback position in Happy Valley. And if Aller doesn't take the next step, man, Penn State, dude, your national championship hope is all right on Drew Aller taking that step. It just does.
But here's the thing, man. Franklin has to take that step as well. That play calling sequence against Ohio State when they were in the red zone and they ran it 3 times, the same play, didn't get creative at all. He's got to take that step as well and just evolve like Ryan Day did and get.
Franklin always has those moments where he chokes in the big games. He always seems to have those weird coaching moments, and he always makes the wrong decision. So he's definitely, hopefully, for his Penn State faithful, grown in that regard. I feel like he maybe took a step forward this year, but maybe not with the example you just brought to the forefront.
And here's the thing, man. The last 2 seasons combined, I think they scored. And this is combined. This is not one. This is combined. I think they scored 20 points against Ohio State the last 2 years combined.
Yeah, I think so.
Like
13 this year and 6 the year, 7 the year before.
I know it's been close, but like when they came to the shoe before the 2024 season, like Aller played like crap, man, just terrible. And then
the rough outing.
Yeah, the play calling sequence in 2024, that's all in Franklin, man. So here are, and they always, I'm not talking about defense on here. They always have a top 5 defense.
Always do.
Top defense, no matter what coordinator you put in there. Now, is Knowles going to be able to find a way that to keep this a low scoring game? Ohio State doesn't score more points than them. Maybe, maybe not. That's yet to be seen. But the big games this year is Oregon and Ohio State. Anything less, I'm sorry, but anything less.
They're both on the road, aren't they?
Yeah. Wait, no. Yeah. Oregon's on the road. No, Oregon's actually in Happy Valley.
Oregon's in Happy Valley, okay.
Yeah.
And they do come to Columbus, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel a little bit better about their chances then now. It's going to be quite the race in the Big Ten.
Anything if they don't win the Big Ten championship or they don't even make the national championship. That's an absolute failure to me, dude.
With them pushing all their chips on the table, they have to make a return trip to Indy, and they have to make a return trip at least to the semifinals, if not further. I mean, it is a national championship or bust season in Penn State's mind. I think the coaches and players see it that way. I don't see how you could view it any other way with the returning talent they have coming back in Happy Valley.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's just like they just made Jim Knowles the highest paid defensive coordinator in all of college football. I mean, Singleton and Allen, they could have easily been drafted. Easily been drafted,
They're
dude.
both extremely talented. And I'm a little upset they came back.
They'll be the best backfield in all of college football next season. I think they're gonna
Without
break
question. I fully agree.
I think they're gonna break some records next season, dude. As that duo will. Telling you.
They have a chance to set some serious records next season in Happy Valley. But so those are 5 coaches here in part 1 that we have. Coaches that need to prove it here in the upcoming season in 2025. We got a part 2 that'll be dropping sometime next week as well. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on that. And yeah, we'd love to see you again. Go Bucks and God bless.
OH.
I-O.